specialist for new home buyers. When you are new, you try harder. We go the extra mile to make it happen for you. We know everything a new home buyer needs to know. We will secure a home loan that suits your circumstances. This is a good time to buy your first home with grants, stamp duty, and build a discount savings of up to $100,000. Get your pre-approval now. Contact us on 0466 110 995 or visit blessmoney.com.au. Honey, let's get in touch with Bless Money.
Namaste and hello. This is Ryan's sister from Ryan's Sister Show. This is a show about things that matter. And today we have come here with a special topic: doing business with Chinese. That means like doing business with Chinese people. So today I have two special guests, my friends Nick Lee and Liz Lee. Before I introduce them, I would like to tell you a bit more about the topic we're going to discuss today. As you know, we live and breathe Chinese these days. We're surrounded by Chinese products, Chinese people, and China has done an amazing economic growth in the last 35 years. Since China opened up in 1978, they've been growing at the rate of like 8 to 10% every year. And I think I won't be wrong in saying that China has become a country of people who are living at least upper middle class income level.
Yeah.
And, at the moment, because of COVID, most of the countries all over the world are suffering. They're facing, economic decline. Probably their growth rate is in the negative territory. But China has been doing an amazing job. I think China has actually benefited a little bit due to demand for all these, masks and sanitizers and things like that. Even in 2020, China's economy grew by about 8%, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, in Australia, there are a lot of Chinese people. I mean, I see Chinese everywhere when I go to some western suburbs and, places like Burwood, Stratfield, Eastwood,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And, but still, we actually don't seem to do business with Chinese people directly that much. So I think it could be because of communication barrier, and also it could be because of lack of our knowledge about the Chinese way of doing things and the Chinese culture. So that's why actually I brought Nick and Liz here today to discuss about the Chinese way of doing business, and so that we get to know a bit more about the Chinese culture, and we can learn from each other, and then probably we can do more business together for our mutual benefit. Right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so let me just introduce Nick to you first. Nick is the sales director at Cubecorp.
Yes.
And Cubecorp is a very reputable, large real estate and property management and investment management company. And Nick's been in real estate business for about 10 years, I think.
Yes.
Right. And he's known for his, real estate knowledge, sales skills, people skills, right? And Liz actually has been working with Nick for about 3 years, right?
Yes.
And I think probably, Nick is nurturing Liz into this game as well of real estate. And I believe you help him out in admin, marketing campaigns, sales,
yes.
right? And also you're enjoying your job, changing people's lives by, helping them buy dream homes.
Yeah, I do, yes.
Right, okay. Sure, so let me just start the program by asking a very basic question we all have, which is, Nick, is it difficult to do business with Chinese people?
Well, it really depends. Like, this a country with more than 1.3 billion of populations, and its culture is so diversified.
Yeah.
And we used to call it, we have at least 56 races. Yeah, with different languages.
Right.
So it's actually very hard to say. According to my experience, it could be difficult. It could be difficult. Sometimes it could be very easy.
Yeah.
It's really broad questions, but it could be really depends how you deal with them,
right.
how you talk with them, how you present yourself and present your business. Yeah.
Sure. Like I have dealt with some people like Australians who have been doing business in China, and they say that it is difficult to do business in China. But they still do it because there's so much money.
Chance, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a huge market, You got like 1.2 billion people.
Yeah, 1.3 already. Yeah,
1.3 already, right?
1.3 already.
Yeah, and even in Australia, the Chinese population, the Australians with Chinese ancestry, is about 1.2 million.
Yes, I believe so.
It's a big market.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Right.
It's true that to do business with people who came from different countries with different cultures, it could be extremely difficult sometimes. Not to mention the philosophy of business for Chinese people can be complex,
right?
Especially to different nationalities to understand.
Yeah.
However, I guarantee you, once you getting to know us, you will find out that not only the money you're making is good, but we are good to deal with as well.
Sure. Yeah. I've been dealing with a lot of Chinese business people in my lifetime, like in last like 20 years or so, while doing business, and I found the same thing. Like it's hard to know you guys, but once I know you, once I have the relationship, there's so much similarity between your culture and also my culture, which is like my country of origin is Nepal.
Yeah.
Nepalese culture. And actually Nepal has been doing business with China for a very long time, like thousands of years. And the city where I come from, Kathmandu, was actually a trading route between India and China.
Oh yeah, the road. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the kings in my city used to tax all the travelers who went to China through India, and the ones who came from China to India. Yeah. And then they all paid tax in gold coins. And then our city became so affluent, very rich. Like we got all these temples made out of gold. People used to live in really nice houses then. But from what I know, I think the British came to India, and then they really wanted to close the border between China and India, so that the Indians couldn't trade with China, and the British could sell their own products to India. Yeah. And when the border was closed, then I think our economy also went backwards. Right. Sure. It's just like looking at the history of China, like China has a very rich culture and history, right? You got like 5,000 years of civilization.
Yeah.
But in the last 200 years or so, like I think you guys been a little bit cheated by the Western countries.
Yes. Yeah.
And also in the 1900s, like Japan also invaded China, and there was a lot of cruelty and stuff.
Yeah.
I was told that, I don't know whether it's true, for a Westerner to do business in China.
Yep.
The Chinese still see them with some sense of suspicion, and you always feel that you've been watched. Is that true?
I could say back to 25 or 30 years ago, it could be partially true.
Yeah.
But today, China joined WTO, World Trade Organization, 2001. Most of the people, doing business, especially doing international trading, they're actually very used to international rules.
Right.
And they very, very try to push themselves, have a more wider vision.
Okay.
Yeah, so they accept the cultures, especially you mentioned Western people. For the recent 200 years, they are more in advance.
Right.
We have to admit this.
Yes.
China, Nepal, Indian is probably a little bit far behind for the recent 200 years. So we're learning. So people doing business, they keen for money, they keen for returns. That's make them more like to learn.
Right.
As long as they learn, they can have greater business, better business. So today, I don't think it's a very big barrier for them.
Right.
To have this kind of issues.
Sure.
Just my opinion. Yeah.
So you think these days, like China is more welcoming? Anyone can go to China and do business?
Most of the cases, and this like you mentioned about the political correctness issues. In China, we don't have these issues,
right.
Especially between the races, between the colors. In Chinese, most of the people, they won't see these issues.
Right.
There will be black people, there will be people with colors doing pretty well in China.
Yeah.
People, especially, back to the history within the Communist Party, used to have a good relationship with, we call it Latin America countries and African countries, that they support the CCP to be, back to half century ago. So it's actually more than welcome for black people, for people from Latin America.
Right.
So this won't be issues. There's still people admiring like the Western cultures, people from America, UK. But as long as they come to the country, the culture is merged together now.
Okay, right.
As a new cultures. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. It's good to know. I think China has become so modern now. It's changed so much in the last 30 years, right?
30 years. Yeah.
And definitely China is going to be the third superpower for sure, because the economists have already predicted that by 2030 China will be number one. Right? So,
I'll see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel proud of that achievement?
For sure, of course.
Okay.
But to be honest, you already put us in a position that America is a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
About the recent international trade war between America and most of the Western country and China, and they're having issues. They've got obstacles, and people will change gradually. But I think China still try to hold a attitude that most of the people are a different entity, different countries can have right to develop themselves.
Right.
And people need to be equal and be fairly treated.
Yeah, sure. I think the politicians, they play all these games to divide and rule. They want to capitalize on people's fear. But when it comes to people, I think everyone admires what China has done in the last so many years. And I think we can all benefit by doing business together. Right. Yeah. Can you just tell me, why Chinese people are so successful in doing business? Maybe I'll ask Liz first.
To me, I think Chinese people are not the most intelligent people in the world. However, I do believe that we are one of the most hardworking and dedicated people on this planet. So I guess, the persistence is just in your DNA.
Right.
And we have been through a very long history without enough food, and yet we survived.
Yes.
So I guess that makes us now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's mainly the work ethics, because you've had very hard times in the past, historically.
Yes.
So people have hard work in their DNA now.
That's right.
Right.
Blood and bones.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's still the same with the young generation?
No.
Probably the young generation is not that hardworking.
Yeah, to be honest.
It would be unfair to say that.
Yeah.
I do see some of the young generations who perform really good, who still have that thing inside their body, but I have to say some of the young generations, they are quite different from what we were before. This is the fact, and I think it's not just happening to Chinese young generations. I think it happens to all the young generations all around the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think what I feel is they might not be so hardworking, the young generation, but still they carry so much hope from their family. In China, because of this one-child policy, the kids, the young generation is so precious. right? I met so many graduates, like, they've come to Australia and they're studying here in all these top universities. They're paying so much fees, but they've been supported by their grandparents, from their mom's side, from their dad's side. Everyone expects so much from them. So they have this so much burden on their shoulder, and then the expectation, they have to do well. Right. So that's why I think they do really work hard, in their studies as well. I think you said like work ethics is what is making Chinese people really successful. But at the same time, I've been told that relationship is the key component in any business deals in China. Right. You got to have really strong relationship. Like, for example, like to make a business happen, you don't need to really know how to make a product, or you don't need to have really smart ideas. You just need to know the people who can make it happen. Like, for example, if I knew how to make toys. I mean, if I knew someone who knows how to make toys, let's say I know Liz makes toys, and then I know Nick who knows where he can sell the toys. I can just buy the toys from you and do business with you, and we can be really successful. We can be the toy kings of Guangzhou or something.
I mean, it's very true and very common in Chinese community. Think it as I have something that you need, and you happen to have something I need. Then let's just trade. You know what I'm saying? Like the party in the middle, representing the medium, that makes the bridge between two parties who doesn't even know each other. And at the meantime, he or she can make some profit out of it. Like, why not? So, like, nobody has to necessarily know anything. And
so it's the people who have the negotiating skills, who have the selling skills, are the ones who actually end up making money.
True.
Right, rather than the ones who actually make the product. It's
not happening like for all the cases, but sometimes it's true.
Like in the case of real estate, let's say that's where you have experience. Like there's a developer, but the developer can't sell the houses or apartments by themselves. They need people like you guys, who can go out there in the market, find customers. As a real estate agent, I think you can make more money than a developer. Can I say that? Or maybe the developer makes more money?
I think at this stage, still developer make more money. Unless you sell every single unit of the building. You sell all the buildings and then you make more money than developers. That could be. Most of the cases, that's why developer develop. They want to make an enormous amount of money, because it's not like about the rate of the return. It's about the magnitude of the money, because each project is at least in Sydney today, if like 50 units, 40 units, at least they will sell more than 20 million, 30 million. So if you yield 25%, 30%, still good amount of money.
It is.
It's nothing about the rate.
And the one who's taking most of the risk, it's a developer.
They should. They should.
But at the same time, I think China is also very good at developing products. Especially they've improved so much. Like in the last so many years now with the technology, AI. Actually, and also 5G, China is the best in the world in 5G.
5G, yes.
Right. And all the Western countries are just trying to play catch up. And I read somewhere that, if there's a third world war now, right, let's touch would not happen, but China is surely going to win because of 5G.
China's speed, yes.
Because with 5G, they can jam all the communication of the Americans or any other superpower,
Let's hope so.
Right. So I think like China is very good in innovating products these days, but in the past, and even now, when it comes to copyright, for Chinese people, they say it's copy it right. They can copy exactly
the
same, but better.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's very funny for you to interpret copyright that way, but it is also true, I have to say.
Yeah.
So I will say this is the fact.
Yeah.
This is what happened, and this will continue to happen.
Yes.
But that's not something that we are currently capable of changing.
Yeah.
So I guess what we should be doing is just to focus on our own, like how to make our products outstanding and be others.
Yeah.
So because I do believe that people nowadays they're not just looking for something cheap.
Yes.
They're really looking at something the quality is as well.
Yep, sure.
So I guess if we are giving enough thoughts and efforts, with time goes on, only the good ones remain.
And also, if China wants to improve on its reputation, like they can't be just copying all the time, right? Like copying skill is good for China, but it's not good for foreigners like us. Like if I want to sell something to the Chinese market, and someone from China would already copy it, and then
at a better price.
Yeah, I'll be like cut out of the market because we can't be as efficient as Chinese anyway. So I think hard work, work ethics is one, relationship is one, and I think this relationship, there's a special term for this, right? Guanxi.
Guanxi.
Yeah.
Guanxi.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick, maybe can you elaborate a bit more on this Guanxi? Like, how does it really work?
The direct translation of Guanxi is actually a relationship.
Yeah.
It's just purely relationship. But Guanxi could be different levels.
Yeah.
Like there's a relationship between me and my family. There's Guanxi. And in terms of business, is how people recognize each other as a business partner. Yeah. Right. So how people respect each other. I think it's about this, at least the two levels. Yeah.
Right.
How I recognize you.
Yeah.
How can I realize the value that you can bring it to me, to my company.
Okay.
And it's also how I respect this person, because people have higher credibility. There's be more credit. More respectful in among of these business partners.
Right.
Someone could be a leader in a group of businessmen.
Yeah.
That's called. I think it's different levels of Guanxi. But it's very hard to define it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about relationship between two business people.
Yes. Basically. Yes. Yeah.
And it's based on trust, like credibility.
Yeah, I think if people have Guanxi, they must have at least a certain level of trust.
Right.
Yeah, and then they can grow in the Guanxi.
Yeah.
We have the call Guanxi means like more intimate Guanxi. It means like more close to Guanxi.
And also, I think in China, it's a hierarchical society. So you show different level of respect for different people. Based on their position in the organization or in the society.
Yep.
Right. Because when I've been to Guangzhou, and then I was dealing with some business people there. They, like, everyone's so polite and so so respect.
Yeah, especially when they're doing business.
Right.
Yeah, they could be much more polite than they actually be in the daily routine life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also sometimes it could be a little bit negative as well. Like, for example, if I go do business with you, and you don't know I am the owner of the business, you behave me differently. And suddenly you know that I'm the owner, and then you start showing all that respect.
Yeah.
Right.
That happens.
It's a little bit discriminatory.
Yeah.
But again, like here also it's the same. Like everyone likes to talk to the decision maker to do business. There's no point in trying to sell your business or product to someone who doesn't have the authority to decide.
Yeah.
So I think to build this relationship, I believe you guys really take your customers out to dinner, lunch, and usually it's like a lavish dinner, lunch, and you get drunk, and then you negotiate. Is that correct?
If you mean like in Sydney, when we sell to a client, actually we don't do this too much.
Okay.
But yeah, to keep when we sell, we won't do this too much. But when we maintain some relationship with the developers, with the partners, we'll definitely go to a fancy restaurant to have a chat, to have a few drinks.
Yeah.
But this is one amazing part of interesting part of the thing is there's a lot of people they do business in China and come to Australia. I always heard they said Australia is very relaxed country. When I'm doing business with my partner, I won't push to drink.
Right.
Push to drink.
Yeah.
It's actually it's a habit like in China. People want you keep drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to keep drinking until you're drunk.
Yeah.
This a certain way. Some part of China is doing the business because they think only if the people get drunk, that means I accommodate you in a good way and a good manner.
Okay.
Yeah, people have to be drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is from certain part of China, not like all.
Is it a business trick? Like you make your customer drunk, and then
no, it's nothing about
you get the truth out of their mouth.
Yeah. No, it's nothing about it. It's like the Nova Day today is like it's not the trick.
Yeah.
But it's just like I treasure you the most, the best of my partner, and I have to serve you until drunk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it's actually already outdated today because young people born 1980s, we call them 80s.
Yeah.
People born 1990s, they grow up, they start doing business. They actually won't be too much like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so this is like a bit old-fashioned.
A little bit old-fashioned. People 40, 45 years old, they're still doing this, but people under 40, they do less. They do less. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
However, I have to say, like, it's a part of the culture that the more you drink, the more respect you show to other people. So like for example, if I refuse to take the shots, and then you won't be happy, and you feel like I look down to you and stuff like that. Okay. So like even though I cannot drink, I have to force myself to do so to make you feel happy. So well, I guess it is. I have to say it is some kind of tricks when you do business. Okay. Like you have to do something that you don't feel comfortable with. Right. To make the sales or business happen.
Okay. Yeah. The culture still exists. But,
they do, yes.
Not like in olden days. I mean,
not as much as before, but still.
So if I go to a business meeting or like dinner, and my Chinese partner is offering me drinks, and I'm already a little bit over it, so it's rude for me to decline the offer.
Depends. Now, if people can speak proper English today, people under 40, they probably won't mind. If like you deal with people more than 55 years old, which barely speak English, so you need a translator. That could be he will feel like
okay.
But for most of the foreigner people from outside China, they understand they won't have to be forced to fit all the cultural things. We're actually very very considerable country. We're considering your culture. We respect the culture. That's why I said mentioned earlier before. That's a country. For most of the time, we don't have something. Too much barrier between the cultures.
Yeah, things are changing now. It's more flexible.
Welcome all the cultures.
And I think a lot of the Chinese people now, they've gone overseas to study, so they know the Western culture as well. So they try and assimilate, like fuse do different cultures.
I mean, we will be giving you guys all the respect. However, if as a foreigner, if you know the culture and you're willing to sacrifice yourself to make other people happy, and I think you definitely will be very successful business man with Chinese people.
Yes. And I think that's one thing lacking in Australia at the moment. The way the Australian government's relationship with China is going at the moment, they don't understand Chinese culture that much. Like they're not good at practicing this guanxi. right? Because they want to have free and frank talk with the Chinese government, but the Chinese government doesn't work that way. They want more diplomacy. Like for example, maybe like the president Xi Jinping, he will only talk to Scott Morrison. Right, and the Scott Morrison is not like ringing him. He's asking his trade minister to ring him, and he's never going to pick up his call. Right, so I think there's this lack of understanding in business culture as well, and that's why we're all suffering now, because China has already banned so many Australian products like beef and lobsters and wine and everything,
cherries, and all
so
that.
so I think someone should go and teach diplomacy or Chinese culture to our prime minister.
They blame them.
Right. There is another thing that I read somewhere that there's a term called Meiji or something, where
Mianzi.
Mianzi, okay. I believe that means like you got to make your Chinese partner comfortable, not make him or her lose face. Is that what it means?
Yes.
That's exactly what it means.
Means face. In direct translation, means face. That means make them comfortable. Do not put them any circumstances that make them awkward.
Right.
That's basically the what means.
Sure. Because earlier when we were having chat, you said that because you don't have experience coming to a chat show like this, you're a bit worried that you might make me lose face. So you really meant about men's.
Okay. That's exactly a situation how men's use.
Right. So that means when I deal with a Chinese person, I don't do anything that will make them look bad. That's what it means.
True.
Right?
Yes.
Awkward.
Okay.
So because we wanted to treat our guests different. Also, I believe from the guest side, they wanted to feel they are being treated differently.
Right.
So that's why the means it takes two sides. So I guess if you know what that means, you just maybe doing things a little bit carefully and just be a little bit thoughtful. Right. To make other people feel good.
Sure. So that means I will need to understand your culture and etiquettes before I go and meet you, or go for dinner or meeting, so that I don't make you feel awkward.
Not necessarily. It's, as I said before. I mean, we fully understand that you may not understand our culture. So it doesn't really matter like whether or not you are giving us means or anything like that.
Right.
However, if you do spend some time to read what that is, we will really appreciate the effort that you have been putting into making this relationship work.
Sometimes there might be a bit of communication barrier as well, and also maybe it's cultural thing. When you're dealing with someone from China, and if they say yes, it may not mean yes, it may mean no, right? Maybe it's because they don't want to lose face. That's why they say yes in front of you, and actually it means no. How as a foreigner, how do I make sure that what is yes and what is no?
Well, on the first level, I think it's purely the difference of our language. I know it confuses a lot of people, so I think there's no better way to just double confirm, or even ask for a certain time if needed. In your understanding, until it's certain that you guys are on the same page. But back to a deeper level, as you said, it could be means like they don't feel comfortable to refuse you in front of your face. So they would just say, "Oh, okay, not a problem." And once they turn around, it's definitely the opposite.
Okay.
So well, I guess you should be. I mean,
is it like like Donald Trump and Xi Jinping? Like Xi Jinping went to the U.S. and he said like, "I'll buy all these American wheat and everything," and then when he returned, he didn't really mean to do that.
No, true. Yeah.
It's the same thing, maybe.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Right. You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Right. So we have to make sure that it's actually definitely a yes or no.
I think when you're doing business, is definitely you have to confirm with what other people's meaning. But I guess when we are all doing business, we are quite straightforward. We wouldn't say something that we are not meant to do.
Right.
So, but I mean, but back to the normal daily life, I think people are not feeling comfortable saying no to you straight away. And if that's what happens, you better just take it. Yeah.
Just reconfirm, right? Okay, sure. And also sometimes, like I might ask Nick, like sometimes when you guys say no problem, it's not actually no problem. It's actually a big problem. Like do you agree? Like because you don't because you guys have very strong work ethic, and you for you no problem is a big problem, because you can fix any problem. But for a foreigner like us, a big problem means big problem. Is that because why you say like no problem, but actually there's a big problem for us?
Actually, I think that happens only when maybe this like cultural misunderstanding. First of all, secondly, what the thing I can think of is if when we have a cooperation at a very early stage, because people may really keen to get the business, they will say no problems, and they try to endeavor to solve the problems after we make certain agreements. That's actually normal, but I think, as Liz said, for most of the businessmen, that if they say yes, they will be say yes. If they say have problems, they open to negotiate. Unless they really want the business, they don't want to turn down the business partner, or they really want this money, and they sometimes will say no problems when it's actually have big problems.
Right. Okay. Is that because they really want to win the business? And then they say, okay, no problem. We'll get it done.
We'll get done by in certain period of time. Sometimes.
And then later on you realize that it can't be done at that and price or time.
Pop up.
And then you say there's a slight problem. Right.
Sometimes.
Okay. Right. Sure. So, but I think overall, I think I found that most Chinese people I've dealt with, they have very strong ethic and credibility. Because I found that because a lot of the Chinese people, they don't follow any religion, but still they have a lot of morality. Right? If they know that they have to pay money to someone, they will pay it.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what it takes.
Yes. Whereas in some other cultures, it's not the case. When it comes to paying money, they're trying to avoid it to the last moment. Right. So that's something that I like about the Chinese culture. So one thing I wanted to actually check with you about this red envelope. In China.
Red envelope.
I think you guys use a lot of red envelope. You give it to your staff. You give it to your customers. Can you tell me a bit about it, like how it works?
In terms of business, like people giving red envelope, which is called 红包, only when there's first of all Chinese New Year, maybe sometimes Christmas today, I think that's the only two big occasions that people in business they gave away red envelope.
Right.
Not very often.
Not
not
so
very often.
often. Like for example, bonus.
So if I just give red envelope to someone not in New Year or Christmas, will it be
It's
considered
gonna be a
as
little
bribe?
bit weird, I would say.
Is it like bribing?
No.
We call today. It's called rebates.
Rebate,
Yes, not real envelope
Right.
because it's different
like
circumstances.
different-
Because this is circumstances like patient can
Yeah.
the patient's family can give a doctor or surgeon a red envelope, which is really in a red envelope
Right.
with the cash.
Right.
Because they're thinking they will look after the patient, they will look after the surgery, especially people scared of the surgery.
Yeah.
That's very typical red envelope. But today, people between partners,
Yeah.
I got the business you get the business for myself. I will kind of bribe you or like reward you. Today we just like, hey, it's a rebate.
Right.
It's a rebate. It's nothing about like a red envelope, like exactly red envelope. Red envelope could be positive, which is like given away from the higher hierarchy to the lower hierarchy.
Okay.
Like in typical, like the shareholder or the company director gave to a frontier employee.
Right.
This is like typical red envelope, meaning
So it's like a bonus, like incentive.
it's actually a very small bonus.
Yeah.
If like today, like people receive more than 10,000 bonus, there will be bank transfer.
yeah, exactly. Like we don't do
So it's actually
business in cash.
everything changed
These days.
nowadays. Yeah.
Okay, so I think a lot of the things that I've been asking is a little bit old-fashioned. Like things have changed
Things
recently.
change, especially when we talk about doing international business.
Yeah.
Doing with foreigners, people are more following international rules
Yeah.
because you deal with foreigners, so you have to be careful. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Talking about the Chinese population in Australia, what I've realized actually is like because the Chinese market is so big, so most of the Chinese business people here they don't actually they ignore other markets.
Yeah.
Like even talking about like small businesses like restaurants, like for example, if you go to Hurstville and you go to a restaurant, like all the menus on the wall are in Chinese.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like why can't they put it in English too? It's better for marketing, so you'll have more customers.
True.
Why do you think like they do that, Liz?
Well, I guess, to be honest, I guess they won't be bothered to have more customers or more, I would say more local.
There's already enough demand for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But I agree with you. You'll be better, or at least show some respect to the local people. Yeah.
Right.
Not to mention it does brings you more business.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you guys feel. Do you feel like you are being treated unfairly? Or?
No, I don't feel that way myself. Like I might just guess that maybe they don't have someone who speaks English very well. And I like to try new things, new food. And I actually go there. I make an attempt to ask the waiter, saying like, "What is exactly this?" And then they will explain. And then if I want it, I can order it. But it was on news, an Australian news channel, saying that it's a bit of like a reverse racism. like Chinese people
Reverse
in Australia,
Yes.
they're trying to discriminate the locals, by just having the sign in Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard that it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And it also makes business sense to have it in English so you can have more customers. So, if I want to do business with the Chinese community, in Australia, what's the point of penetration? How can I target the Chinese customers?
Well, I mean, we don't use like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as often as other people do.
Yeah.
But we do have our own platforms and applications being built up. Like for example, we have Weibo, WeChat you mentioned before, the Little Red Book, and all sorts of online shopping applications.
Right.
So take WeChat for example. Like it's definitely more than a communicating tool.
Yep.
So by WeChat, we can make payments. We have our own personal banking.
Right.
like you have your own official account, you post ads and make sales, and I mean, not just for work, for life as well. So we have something called a friend circle. So you can easily see what other people are doing, and you are able to find people nearby. So like everything has been, it's literally allows you to do everything like what you have to do in just this one little app.
So you must have presence in WeChat.
I highly recommend, like everybody who wants to do business with Chinese, you have to get a WeChat account.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. And if we want to do business with Chinese businesses in Australia, like you guys, because we know when you're dealing with Chinese businesses, we usually get really good value for money, and also good service. But the thing is, we don't know who to contact, because as I said earlier, like Chinese businesses are not so good in marketing to other communities apart from Chinese. How can we make this, transaction happening? Do you have any suggestions, Nick?
Specific talk to my business, we will find some person like you. The connections between us and the community. As you said, this is 100% correct.
Because Nepalese community is a very big community as well.
Very big community.
There's about 100,000 people in Australia.
That's right. That's right. But no Chinese company ever they will do some marketing in this community. But we are trying to be the first. And we respect the culture, especially personally myself. The Buddha is Nepalese. The Buddha is from Nepal. I believe, as I said, China is not very. Chinese people are not so religious people, but I believe if you randomly ask someone, 50% of them they will say they believe in Buddha. So that's the big connection between China and the Nepalese. So we just trying to connect it. That's why we very respect the diversified cultures. In our company we have Indian people, we have Nepalese people, we have people from Southeast Asia, all across Southeast Asia. So just have to respect first, and then try to find the key person or the key channel, in this community, and then we see how we can deal with this later.
Sure. Okay. Do you think having something like a business event, like an expo of Chinese businesses targeting Nepalese community or Indian community is something needs to be done?
Need to be done. It's actually urgent things that Chinese businessmen should target. More or less, I will target this. I will do the Chinese Expo or Chinese Business Expo with Nepalese, Indian, and this Southeast Asian people.
But a lot of the business customs we have are very similar. Like for example, bargaining. We love bargaining.
We love bargaining. Especially for real estate. People bargaining is actually the buyer, right?
Sure. So I think we'll do business very well together. If we can link our people with your business, entrepreneurs, and also your people with our businesses. I think there's a lot of mutual benefit we can achieve.
Of course,
for sure.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So Nick, usually and Liz as well, because you guys represent Cubecorp and you are in the real estate market. Can you just give us a bit of idea about how the housing market is going in Sydney?
Currently, actually, we realize there's more sales of volumes. There's more sales coming from late, I think, this November. This is like there's a lot of sales volumes increased from late last year. For this year, we just start from last week. But pretty much there's a more increasing numbers of inquiries that we start recruiting more people, sales consultant than before.
Right.
And I think most of the people already realize, because it's not just us, it's about the forecast from the media, the forecast from the banks, investment bank, commercial banks, and the analysis, economics. Most of them is like tend to positive opinions on the future Sydney market, especially in Sydney. Like someone guessing this like 30% of the increase. The most optimistic estimate is like 30%.
30%, really? The price will go up by 30% this year? Oh, wow.
That's the most optimistic estimate.
Which we believe as well.
So, for first home buyer, because we're selling lots of new products, new homes, off the plan house land package. I'm just like saying, if for someone looking for owner occupied properties, haven't had a chance to hold a property before, it's actually a time to step into the market. I think it's widely accepted. But just be careful your budget. Just make sure to not over budget yourself, not put yourself in a very big mortgage that you cannot afford. As long as you take this into account, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Sure. I was just talking to one of the friends this morning, and I think some of the people, they tend to over budget, buy something they can't really afford as well. Like this guy, he bought a 5-bedroom house in Edmondson Park for about 900,000 or something. And then he wants to put a solar panel now, and he can't afford it, because his mortgage is so high.
That's right.
So you gotta make the right decision.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what we'll do. We just offer consultation ideas to this first home buyer. People do not have a lot of experience in the market, and people are not financial background, and they first home buyer. To cope with this, we just have to make sure our client can buy something valuable, plus they can afford the mortgage, or otherwise they can do reinvesting strategies to have to enjoy higher rental yield and future capital growth. I
might ask Liz actually, can you just explain to our audience, how does the buying process work? For example, from an inquiry from a potential buyer to the point where you hand over the property. What are the steps involved? Can you explain in brief?
Well, if I didn't get to meet the clients face by face, I'll normally just give a phone consultation first, and I'll just to touch base to grab their basic information and what kind of properties they're looking for, and then I'll try definitely to schedule a meeting to talk to them to face to face. I mean, because Nick has told me that you at least have to have 7 times of face-to-face communication with them until you have one deal done.
Right.
So really, we're just trying to have conversations with them just to know their needs, so that we know the budget, and so now we know what is the most suitable product for them. It's not has to be the expensive one, but the one that fits them the best. And then I guess it's just it takes time for them to think, and then it's definitely gonna take several rounds before they make the call. So I mean, along the way, we just have to be patient as well, and just keep them company, and trying to stand by all the time, to making them feel like we are just here all the time to give them all the supports that they need. I guess that's how we work as a consultant.
So you will take them to several inspections?
Yes, we do. After we schedule a meeting, we'll take them to the display, and then in the display, it could be a little bit different, because after they saw the display, their thoughts and ideas can be very different. They may just run away and feel like, no, this is not what I want, or maybe they feel extremely good because I do have clients who make the purchase on their very first visit to the display, which is not what usually happens. But it's very necessary to giving them all the time that they need, so that like no matter how many times they want to visit the display, or we take them to the site, or like if they buying existing properties, we have to take them for the inspections, like all that, and then again it backs to the sitting to talk to them and to discuss for all the details as well.
So I think it's very important to like profile them, know their interest, preferences, the budget, locations they want to buy the property in. I think if you know everything about the customer, then you can match them with the right product.
Yes, because sometimes what they need,
and you
what they want is not
so
what they need.
different projects going on at the moment, right? Yeah. Right. So if they like the property, then they leave a deposit.
They do. I think giving deposit is it's really like necessary because you actually showing other people that you are serious about making a purchase.
Right.
So I guess it's a small money. It's from 2,000 to 5,000, which is fully refundable for most cases.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. And then probably after paying the deposit, then the deal is confirmed after the loans and everything's approved.
Yes. So like for signing the contract, you pay 5 to 10 deposit initially of the purchasing price, and then it highly depends on the types of properties you're buying. So if it's off the plan, you pay 5 to 10, and then and until the settlement, you pay like whichever left to make it 20%. If you borrow 80% from the bank, like that. However, if you buy existing properties, you have to have 20% street.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. I think this is a good time to buy a house for first-home buyers, right? Because of all these incentives we're getting from the government. And also,
and the interest.
And the interest is really low at the moment. I heard that there's some banks, they're offering interest rate of 1.74% today.
True.
Right. And also there's some good news from the government side as well. The federal government minister actually is trying to recommend the state government to abolish the stamp duty forever. Because I think stamp duty is really a factor that discourages first-home buyers from buying.
This will be replaced by land tax.
Land tax, okay.
But for first-home buyer, they normally, if they buy a the government incentive threshold, there will be no affected because they won't pay stamp duty anyway. At
the moment, but
at the moment,
I think they're trying to do this for long term.
Still discussion. I think will have more impacts on the house. More expensive house, more than 1.5 million. Because the stamp duty will be very considerable amount of money.
Like at the moment in Australia, like 60% of the economy is dependent on the property market. So it's so important to keep the property market afloat, running. For the economy to sustain. So I'm sure the government will do something. Come up with some plan to not let the property crash happen. Which is the biggest risk at the moment for buyers. Right, sure. So I think it was really nice talking to you guys. I know we are short of time, and thank you very much for coming today and sharing your insights. It was really nice to talk to you and know about Chinese culture.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And to our audience, I think if you like to, buy any properties, you can contact Cubecorp, or you can contact our sponsor, Bless Money, and they will be able to, show you the deals they have on offer. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, and then we'll see you again next time with another topic. Thanks again for your audience. Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.